US President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office have spooked financial markets, tested legal bounds, and turned the federal government upside down, denting his poll numbers in the process as well. On the 29th of April, during a rally in Michigan, Trump claimed it's all going according to plan. Trump's second administration has opened with a furious blitz of conservative policy focused around deportations, deep cuts to federal agencies and tariffs. But polls show most Americans think he has gone too far on all of those issues. In fact, a New York Times Siena College Research Institute survey released on the 25th of this month found majorities of those surveyed disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy. They also disapprove of Trump's handling of immigration, the federal bureaucracy, and overall job performance. But just listen in to what the US president had to say in Michigan, followed by my colleague Simon Mark's report from Washington.
In 100 days, I've taken more than 1,000 executive actions, and I could recite our accomplishments all night long. And by the way, did you just see what I did? Straws. I wiped out the paper straw, little thing. These are the little things. Your sink. You ever try buying a new sink and no water comes out? Your shower heads, your toilets, the whole thing, it's a disaster. We now have it so you can have as much water as you want.
Donald Trump's speech in Michigan was heralded by the White House as an opportunity for the president to promote his achievements over the past 100 days. In the event, the speech was not just about looking back, but also about looking forward to the new golden age for the United States that the president says he is creating, and to the midterm elections next year. He claimed that the number one issue that propelled him to office was immigration. He vigorously defended his decision effectively to seal America's southern border with Mexico, claimed he had cut 99.9% of incoming illegal immigrants crossing that border. And he also indicated that his efforts to engage in mass deportations will not slow down, and that he wants the US Supreme Court to adjudicate whether lower-level judges have the power to constrain him. He is already accused of defying court orders as the deportations continue. On trade, the president claimed trillions of dollars in tariff revenues are now pouring into the United States. He promised the crowd in Michigan that their state will be one of many that will benefit from a revival in manufacturing industry in America, though most economists argue that will take years fully to materialize. He accused China of having engaged in the greatest theft of jobs in world history, and indicated that he believes there will be progress in talks with Beijing and many other governments aimed at easing the tariff burden. With regard to India, earlier in the day, he said talks between Washington and Delhi were going well, and he thought there could be progress to announce on trade soon. Most of all, the president rounded on his opponents, accusing former President Joe Biden of bringing the country to its knees, and the younger generation of Democrats of being radical left communists, expressing sympathies for criminal migrants who he characterized as the most violent savages on earth. With an eye on next year's midterm elections, the president asked who on earth would vote for the Democrats. And by tying his opponents to the issue of immigration, he seemed to be firing the first shots in the midterm campaign. There was no regret expressed about anything that he's done in office so far, only confidence being exuded that he is transforming America, and determined that neither his political opponents nor the country's judges are going to stop him. Simon Marks, NDTV, Washington.
Joining us for a quick comment on the matter, live from Chicago, we have Richard Benkin. Richard, law-abiding migrants sent to foreign prisons, sweeping tariffs disrupting global markets, students detained for protests, violent insurrectionists pardoned. The Supreme Court ignored, and I'm not even done yet. Polls are indicating that the average American is dissatisfied. But take us through the sentiment on the ground. How are people reacting to Trump's first 100 days in office?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And my prayers and those of many Americans are with the people of India right now. I think if you go to the ground, it really depends who you speak with. Some people are, there are people that would think everything he did was great. There are people that think that everything he does is horrible. So much of the stuff is really just going to take a little bit to bake. I think the tariffs are a great example. We saw a tremendous drop in the stock market after he announced tariffs, but Actually, right now, the stock market's at 90% of the value it was on the day that he announced tariffs. So we have a lot to see. I think something very important is being missed with all these back and forth accusations. And I think this thing really affects India as much as the United States. For as long as I can remember, I've heard about the rise of China, the rise of China, rise of China. China has made no secret about wanting to form a coalition to supplant the United States as the dominant military and economic power in the world. And we know if that would happen, that would not be good for India. Certainly, the Chinese economy is in trouble. It was in trouble before, but now, with it losing its major consumer market, the United States, where we know of a lot of unemployment, factories closing, and in fact, just I think it was yesterday, one of the few factories that are open, there's a group of them that import ethane gas from the United States, and China put a retaliatory tariff on that, and they begged the Chinese to take it off, which they did. So we see that much. Beyond that, though, however, there are some real geopolitical developments that people are just missing. Indians are familiar with China's string of pearls strategy to encircle India, and a part of that is all the way on the Horn of Africa, in the port of Djibouti, which the Chinese have seized through Belt and Road.
Well, it's always a pleasure to hear your views.